Yeah.
And that's walking a fine line because lots of seasoned photographers get a little angry at those of us who kind of work for free for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how they think we're supposed to build our portfolio without working for the smaller guys for free. So that one doesn't make any sense for me. And I think they're just being salty for no reason. But that's
Yeah.
just my take on it. Um, that being said, don't let people take advantage of you. Like, I was working for a publication, and after I was booked for 4 more shows at SPAC, which SPAC is the big amphitheater. It's where Fish just did their big, you know,
Oh, wow.
benefit show for the floods, etc. Um, I didn't know until I shot TLC there that shooting from the soundboard was even a thing that happened. I didn't know that was even a thing that happened sometimes. Um, and because the camera was borrowed, I knew I didn't have the gear because I had Tears for Fears coming up. So I messaged the guy I was shooting for and I said, hey, I didn't even know this was a thing until 4 days ago. But now that I know it's a thing, I'm a little concerned. And he got nasty. By the way, he's
Oh,
never paid me a dime.
oh goodness.
I write, I do the review and the photo gallery for him. He's never paid me. He he got me to work for him again by promising to pay and then never paying me. But I was
Oh
still like,
goodness.
okay, I'll go. I want to see Tears for Fears. Sure, I'll shoot for you. But then when I realized that I might not be able to do a good job, I reached out to him. Like, first of all, maybe when you're trying to find people to shoot back, you need to let them know that sometimes it's from the soundboard because we don't all have 400 millimeter lenses. I don't. I still don't.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't
um,
I don't either. I have a professional camera, but I don't have a lens like that.
right, right. I don't either. I've got a lot of decent ones, and I can get some really good crowd shots now, and I can get some really good shots from the pit. But I can't shoot soundboard with the gear that I have. I'd have to rent one, and since you're not
Yeah.
paying me, I'm not spending $600 to rent this lens. And moral of the story is, as awesome as it is, and as much as you might want to see these bands, we have to, as a collective, we have to stop letting these people treat us this way because otherwise they're just going to keep finding new people to treat that way. So I think it's less about working for free and more about, I think that's the wrong conversation. I think we should be talking about the dudes who are making money off of us and paying us nothing.
Yeah.
We're having the wrong conversation.
Yeah, and that reminds me of I worked for a radio station. I was a radio DJ. And I worked for an NPR radio station, and I did an interview with a musician. I don't even remember the musician's name. I hate to say that. Like, he
Oh,
made me so mad
that's okay.
because he
I,
treated me so horrible. Like, it wasn't my fault that our phone connection, because we had to do the interview over the phone and put it through the soundboard. It wasn't my
yeah,
fault that the connection was staticky and horrible. And I told him, I said, I'm really, really sorry. I'm trying to get a good connection. And he's like, just
right,
forget it. Forget it. And he was in the city and it was really, really windy and you could hear all the sound coming from his end. It wasn't technically
right,
my fault.
right. Of course not. Yes, I think, and I've made it my personal mission this summer. When I see new photographers or, when we're backstage talking about things, I bring it up. Like, don't work for this guy. Don't do it. And I'm not telling you that because I'm being competitive. I don't work for him either, but he is
Yeah.
an asshole.
Yeah.
And everybody knows he's an asshole, but yet somehow he still has all this power. You know, it, 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 it It makes very little sense to me. I think that as a group, we need to start having a new conversation and start pushing these assholes out
Yeah, exactly.
and getting in people. You know, like I work for Mirth Films now. That's the one I work for. I'm happy to work for him. He he's he's wonderful. He's the best team builder. I hate to admit he can build a team even better than me, and I'm good at building a team, but he is real good at building a team. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy working for him. I'm shooting for him again in October. Thank God it's not going to be hot.
That'll be good.
Yes, I'm shooting for him in October. He throws a festival called Wild in the Trees. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, that sounds
It's
great.
going to be awesome. Yeah. Yeah, they're doing one of a guy who was in a band called Aqueous is going to be doing a set. He's going to be doing just covers of Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I think I've almost got my kid talked into coming up for it. So I'm very excited.
See,
and it's a skateboarding competition too, so I might get to shoot. I love shooting skaters.
Oh yeah, that
it's a ton of fun.
That would be incredible. That would be something that I would love to shoot.
It's so fun. It's so fun. And the best part about still shots is you don't have to land the tricks. Because you get the shots of them up in the air, even if they fall, you're like, whoop, no one knows.
Magic.
Yep, like magic. Exactly.
Yeah. I love taking, just carnival photos, like anything like that. That's I love taking those as well.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to branching out. I want to take some pictures with fire in it.
There's some heavy metal bands that can do that.
I know. That's what I went into a group called Concert Photography, and I'm seeing all these pictures with like guitarists jumping in the air, and I'm like, man, I want that. I want that. I want that. And fire? Yes.
Pyrotechnics.
Yes. I want to go to there. I'm definitely looking to branch out because, I've been mostly shooting jam stuff and I like it, but I never was a jam band girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I'm branching out, which is fine because Frankie loves the jam band stuff and he's my boss and he can have it. Just give me Bad Religion and, all the weird drag queen shows and stuff. I love it. I'm here for it. Yep.
Yes. Makes for a really great photography.
Yep.
Most definitely.
I got to shoot DJ Logic. Oh, I was a DJ myself on turntables a long time ago. That's cool. So, but everybody told me it was during the festival that I had the heat stroke at from the photo that you showed earlier. It wasn't actually a heat stroke, but it was close. Anyway, he was the last guy on the ticket. And on the last day of the festival, we had a rainstorm. So for like 2 hours, we had to shut the whole thing down. So everything was 2 hours behind. But then the band that played before DJ Logic's band did like 2 extra hours for some reason. And I was exhausted by this point. And I told my partner, I'm like, I swear to God, if DJ Logic is up there on CD players, I'm punching everybody on the way out the door. I'm like, I am only here to shoot turntables.
I'm done.
If it's not, everybody's getting punched. So we actually, this broke my rule because I usually don't look up to people that I haven't seen. I love to see them live first.
Yeah.
But we Googled him and every photo there was turntable. Yes. So that was another highlight of my summer. I got turntable photos and it was awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. That was very exciting.
But if you all in the audience didn't notice, I did put a link to Tammie's link tree at the very, very beginning in the intro. So you should check out some of her stuff. She is very, very, very talented. I'm just going to mention that now. And then, of course, I will put all the links all the links in the description of the
Awesome.
show.
Awesome.
But yeah,
Awesome.
like concert photography, it's wonderful. Like it's amazing,
fast.
but it can be so tiring. It's so tiring.
Yes.
I know as a DJ, I had my moments of like ups and downs. Like I said, with that musician that was really, really rude to me. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not even going to remember your name because you were so rude to me. And then I have people like John Ojaka that I've met in person, and he's just super, super sweet, super nice. I've met Ray Benson from Asleep at the Wheel, super nice guy, really, really awesome. I have met some incredible musicians and celebrities that are just nothing but sweet. So, I mean, there are those ones that are really, really hard to work with, and you just kind of, you got to grin and bear it and make the best of the situation.
I will say this about photography. It's mostly men. It's there's been more women popping up, but it's a pretty male dominated field. However, that being said, and I know I'm probably the exception, and I know that I'm going to run into an asshole one of these days, but I mean, I've asked what I consider to be pretty dumb questions to, like, professional been in Rolling Stone photographers, and they're all nice. Like, I haven't had a single photographer be a jerk to me.
That's
ever.
Good.
Not ever. That's security, yes. Photographers, no. I mean, clearly, don't bother them when they're shooting. Don't bother them when they're working. But like, we're a good bunch. Most of us are neurospicy. That's another thing I've noticed. Most of us we're either on the spectrum or we're ADHD or both, like me. And we've just found that photography at shows is how we see music. If I wasn't taking pictures, I wouldn't want to be there. I would be crawling out of my skin because I didn't have anything to do.
Yeah, that's what I've told my husband. I'm like, I really don't want to go to a concert. This is going to sound terrible. It's going to sound absolutely terrible. But I usually don't want to go to a concert unless I could be up front, row center. And the reason why I say that is because I can get those good shots on my phone, and I'm trying to build my portfolio up. I do have a portfolio on upic.com, but a lot of those are nature photography. I do have some of the concert photos that I've taken on there, but like I want to build that portfolio up, and the way I can do that right now is to be front row and center. But I told
like
my husband,
I said, the perfect spot to do that is in a smaller venue. The security doesn't mind that you have your camera, because no one stops people from bringing their cameras into, like, I have dirt wire on Thursday up at Putnam Place in Saratoga Springs. Nobody's going to mind if someone else brings a camera. They don't check. It's that's how you do it. That's how you get those shots. And people are much more likely to move out of your way when you have a big camera than when you just have your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
They assume they assume you're either there with the band or you're there with someone else, which I am. But even if you're not, you can pretend you are. And then very likely, see, at those moments, that's possibly somebody else is there, and they can come up and go, "Hey, who are you here shooting for?" And when you say me, boom, there's a conversation, there's a connection, networking. They're probably that's how you do it.
Yeah,
it's that easy. You just got to talk to people.
That's like, I don't have a hard time talking to people whatsoever. Like, I'm not shy about it. Like, becoming a radio DJ kind of brought me out of my shell. Dad, I remember my dad, when we went to the Sleep at the Will concert, my dad's like, "You don't have to get an autograph." I was like, oh, please. So I walk up there, and I was pregnant at the time. I waddle up there. I waddle up there, and I was like, hey, Mr. Benson. I was like, do you mind if I have an autograph? And I had my little cassette tape sleeve, and he's like, wow, you have been a fan for a long time. I was like, yes, I grew up listening to you. He's like, you can have an autograph, sweetheart. And he signed it, and my dad's like, I can't believe you did that. I was like, believe it, I got your autograph.
Yep. I'm pretty sure it imprints when they're in utero, because my oldest, who's 27 now, was just at Muddy Roots, which is a huge punk rock. Like, he got to see Dead Milkmen before me, but it's because I saw so many punk. I saw Blink 182 when I was pregnant with him. And this was before, I mean, there was like 10 people there. So I met the band and everything. I saw No Effects when I was pregnant with him. Henry Rollins, spoken word. Like, I went to all these punk rock shows in Austin, and now he's growing up and going to punk. I'm like, but you can be backstage with me at this festival. He's like, nah, Mom, I'm going. I'll get you up here one day.
My daughter is the exact opposite. Like, she wants to be like doing concert photography. She wants to do all of that, and like she has the whole radio DJ thing in her blood. Like, she loves hosting shows and she loves taking photos. And I told her, I said, what if I ever get to see your favorite band? Like, what if I ever get backstage with them? She's like, you better bring me with you. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm really excited about Bad Religion. I'm really excited about that one. Yeah, I've been listening to that band since my kids were babies. Actually, their CD got stuck in our car. So we listened to it all the way from Texas to Pennsylvania and back again one Christmas.
That works.
So yeah, it's a very big deal that I'm getting to shoot them. I'm excited for that one.
That's awesome. My mom and dad, this is going to date me, I guess, but my mom and dad left me with my aunt and uncle when I was younger to go. I think it was them. They went to see them in concert. So, like, that is really awesome that you're getting to do that. Like, I'm excited for you. That's incredible.
Yeah. Like, I'm thinking I won't get any jump shots probably, but maybe, I don't know, because I've seen Fishbone recently and they're also aging. But they have as much energy as they did when I saw them when I was 19. It's incredible. Yeah. I'm shocked at the energy level that some of these older musicians have. Good for them.
It's like Billy Idol. Good for them. Like, he's still got energy. Like, right. Like, you have more energy than I have. How's this possible?
There's got to be something to that life of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? Like that.
Pretty much. Like, he's incredible. Like, him and Steve Stevens, like his guitarists, they're just incredible, hands down.
Yep.
And Kelsey Carter for them, and I really, really adore her. Like, a huge fan of Kelsey Carter. So Kelsey Carter, if you're watching, hit me up. I'll do some photos for you. But yeah, like, it helps to make friends with people in line, because there was a wonderful lady that was in line in front of me, and she found out that I love Kelsey Carter. She's like, you're a huge fan of Kelsey Carter. I was like, the biggest fan of Kelsey Carter. I love her so much. And she's like, well, if I can get her set list, I will give it to you. And she got Kelsey Carter's set list and handed it to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Well, that's awesome. I got Ziggy Marley's on here. But now that I'm a concert photographer, I don't feel like it's fair.
Yeah.
Like now and then, like if I'm writing about the show, I will take if I can, if it's not a huge one, I will, after asking the band, because it's a whole thing, you're not supposed to see the set list. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to show anybody, but I might not be here the whole time. Let me get a shot of that set list. I'm not going to show a single soul The phone's going to be in my butt pocket. We're good. And yeah, most they don't mind that. But yeah, I feel like it's cheating now to grab a set list at the end since I've already gotten to be up there so much. So I let everybody else have them as long as
That's
I get my photo of it.
that's understandable. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand that one. Like Billy Idol, I was respectful because like security came out there and they're like, please don't just stand and videotape the whole entire time, which I can respect that.
Yes.
I appreciate that security said that. I was there to enjoy the show and maybe get, like a few second clips of Billy Idol
Yes.
and some photos. I think that I maybe got a 1 minute clip of him, and that was the longest that I took. And I also did that with Kelsey Carter since she was his opener. I didn't want to disrespect Billy Idol's wishes, so like I didn't get a whole lot of video, but I got what photos I could.
Right. That's I do the same. Yeah, I forget what I was going to say. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yes. I forgot where I was at. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. You're
my
fine.
brain just went blank.
You're fine.
Oh, videotaping. Yes. The very first time I took a picture at it, I took one after I started shooting mushrooms on my phone. That's where I started. I started taking pictures of mushrooms with my phone in the woods. And then I'm like, uh-oh. Now I have a special interest. Mushrooms and photography. And then it just grew into shooting concerts too, which complete opposite ends of the spectrum. But yeah. If you are the very first time I ever took any photos at a show was with my actual camera after I became a photographer. Because it just seems like, unless, like you said, you're right in the front row and you get a really good, you know what I mean? You're not going to get a great.
No.
Just stand there, keep your phone in your pocket and enjoy yourself.
Yes.
Although I will say, as a if you see a photographer come in, hold your phone up. Because I don't know about, I can't speak for all photographers, but if I'm walking around the crowd and I see somebody holding their phone up, I'll get one of those cool shots of like the band in the background with the phone and that's a pretty cool fun shot to get. But otherwise I agree with you. I think you should, whether it's to protect the band's, set list, because they don't want people at the next show knowing what they're playing. That's why they ask you to do that. I get that, but it's also you're missing. You're having to pay attention to your phone. You're missing stuff.
Exactly.
I got you. I'll take the pictures. Very likely my boss is here filming. I got you. You're gonna get to see it. Have a good time.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, I was just more interested in seeing Billy Idol. That's a big deal. Like, you grow up listening to some of these people and it's just like, wow, I can't believe I'm witnessing them live playing the music that I listen to on the radio. It's incredible. And like Billy Idol, if anybody ever gets a chance, like this show is not sponsored by Billy Idol, let's say that, but if anybody ever gets a chance to see Billy Idol in concert, please do. Oh my gosh, like awesome. Even at this age, he's still Billy Idol. He's still young at heart and incredible.
Awesome. Awesome. That's how I felt at TLC and everybody. Like when En Vogue came out on the stage, I was like, oh my God. And again, I had my mask on, so I'm like, holy shit, oh my God. It feels like it's a really big deal. Also, I will say, okay, here's one thing I discovered shooting for them. Okay, when I'm shooting a jam band, right, like, if I'm shooting a guitarist and he's got like that stank face, I call it stank face. Some people call it bass face. You know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Okay. So when I'm shooting a jam band and they're doing that, that's what we want.
Yeah.
However, I had never given it any thought. I've shot females before and they're all just gorgeous and none of them ever did the face. However, when I started going through like En Vogue and TLC, They did the face. Like, you remember that picture of Beyonce that got really super, where she was like, and she looked really bad?
Yeah.
She stopped letting photographers into her show. So I had to
Oh, good.
decide right in that moment, like, what kind of photographer do you want to be? The good kind. Those pictures
Yeah.
are gone. No one will
Yeah.
ever see those photographs except for me. Nobody needs to
Yeah.
see In Vogue making the stank face. Nobody needs to
Yeah.
see that. That's not the kind of attention I want. I'm a professional. I'm not going to make anybody look bad, especially a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that was a big one.
I can
That was a
definitely
big one. Yep.
um like I know this is going to be a difficult question, and if you can't answer it, that's cool.
No, that's okay.
I think that you've already answered it somewhat, but if there is one concert that you could pick as your favorite so far, what would that be?
The TLC one.
Yeah.
Only because that one proved that I can do it. Like,
Yeah.
that was when I changed my job on my Facebook to photographer.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I didn't turn the camera on until I got to the show. I had no idea how to use it. I couldn't get it to work on manual. I didn't do it by myself, but I did with help figure out how to use it. And I ended up with hundreds of usable shots, including Shaggy with the microphone in his pants, completely blacked out. So that proved to me that I was on the right track. Like, it didn't
Yeah.
matter what anybody said before. It didn't matter how many people were asking me to shoot for them. To me, that was my proof.
Yeah.
But there's been other shows that were super fun. Like Rebel Bucket was so much fun to shoot. And another one, Karina Reichman. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's a bass player, but she's been doing her own stuff. She's incredible. She was a lot of fun to shoot. I
Oh,
love to shoot an animated, anybody who's up there completely engrossed in what they're doing. But for me,
yeah.
my biggest moment was doing TLC and everybody. And it wasn't necessarily because of who it was. It was because of
Yeah.
all the challenges that I overcame and still got those shots. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the one.
And I have
That would
seen
be
some
the
of
one.
those, and I was hoping that you would say that one. Like, I had that in the back of my mind. I was hoping
Yeah,
you would say that.
yeah.
If you could shoot any band, like I know you're excited about Bad Religion, but what would be your dream band to shoot?
Primus or
Yes.
Les Claypool in any iteration of Les Claypool. Like, I just
Yeah.
saw a photograph. Apparently Billy Strings had a birthday party. I just saw a
Oh, wow.
photograph yesterday taken on a phone of Billy Strings, Les Claypool, Bob
Oh,
Weir,
wow.
and Trey Anastasio. All
Yeah.
four of them playing together at Billy Strings' birthday. My eyes just
Oh, that's so cool.
look, there were no photographers there, clearly, because it was just taken on a phone and it was his birthday party. But like that, yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
But Primus or Les Claypool's Flying Frog Brigade, they're coming in November. I'm hoping to get that one. Yeah, yeah. I
That would be
happen
cool.
to love him, and I think he's incredibly interesting looking. And I
That
really want to spend a little time. Yeah.
I think one of my, of course, I talk about Motionless in White all the time. I put in for a press pass for Motionless in White. I'm going to keep trying. But beyond
Awesome.
that, Johnny Lang, I would love, love, love to go to a concert of his and actually be in the photo pit for his concert, because he's very animated. He's very passionate about guitar playing,
Awesome.
and just, I would love that
Awesome.
so much.
I will say for anybody just starting out, the a lot of bands, especially if they're so big that they're touring in mostly, arenas and things like that, when you see them by themselves, the chances of you being in the pit are only about 50-50. It's up to the band. And it seems to me as though sometimes the band changes their mind between one venue and the next. So you never know. The one way to be absolutely sure that you'll get to shoot that band is if they are in a festival that you shoot. That's the one way to be sure, which unfortunately you'll have to work 2 or 3 days straight, and it's hard. But that's a good way to get to shoot some of those bands that are maybe playing in arenas. Like I got Dark Star. I was in the pit for Dark Star Orchestra, at this last festival, which was cool. So really things cool. Things like that. The larger band is just something to keep in the back of your mind. Yeah. Get in touch with the festival organizers. They're always looking for media people. I mean, we had like 7 people on my team, plus more photographers there. For other, some of the band's photographers and, things like that. Yeah. So. Yeah. But it was.
That's like, you have told us some really, really good tips, and I really, really appreciate you sharing that with the audience. Is there anything that you would like to talk about before we close out the show?
Don't touch a photographer while they're working.
Yes.
Don't touch a photographer while they're working. Unless it's some kind of emergency and they're standing on your foot, which I can't see that happening. Don't touch a photographer while they're working. I think that's, and that's for people who aren't trying to shoot. For people who are trying to shoot, just keep doing it. Go to the smaller shows, introduce yourself to the opening band, take as many shots as you possibly can, build that portfolio, and before you know it, you're going to be getting booked.
Yes, that is some good advice, like definitely some good advice. Well, thank you so much for being on my show.
Thank you for having me.
You are more than welcome to come back. I always love having you on my show. We could talk for hours. It's so easy. But I will put like all the links that you all in the audience need to know in the description. And this is pre-recorded. Oh no, the secret's out, but this is pre-recorded. So
that's when how you got to see that picture though.
Yes. The magic of editing and pre-recording. When you all are seeing this, it's going to be on Saturday, and we pre-recorded this, so I will be able to put all of the photos that I'm going to put in this episode, which magic of editing. That's always fun.
Awesome. Awesome. And I'll get to be here for this one.
Oh,
I was actually shooting another festival the last time my Warrior Within aired, but I'll be here on Saturday, so I'll be able to catch up.
Oh, see, there we go. More reason for it to be pre-recorded. That's awesome. But all of you in the audience, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, Tammie, for being a guest. You are more than welcome to come back. And until next time, catch you all on the flip side.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game that we say. I need a break. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. I wanna be the one. pace on when I chase like that. Yeah, I play so strong with a knife in the back. I'ma swing home run like a baseball bat. Gonna see me rise, you can hate on that. I don't play both sides, doing me no cap. I'ma ride or die for my dreams on tap. I'ma fly real high, you ain't see me slack. No, it's not how you fall, it's how you get right back up. That's how you get tough. Calluses on my hands so rough, yeah, I call your bluff.